So my student is a 7-year-old white male. He attends early elementary and is in the first grade. He has no primary diagnosis or comorbidities that are known. The reason he is seeking services is for illegible handwriting and poor attention span. He's also concerned that he writes slower than his peers and that he'll be made fun of for not being able to keep up with his classwork. The occupations in which the client is successful include music class, t-ball, and running. The barriers to this are the amount of time to complete schoolwork. His personal interests and values include spending time with family and doing well in school. T-ball, video games, TV, hunting, and his pet snake. He lives with his mom and his 2 older brothers and then 1 older sister. In the past year, he's had the same length of school days, but t-ball, games, and practices have increased a lot than previously. He's also had a lot more homework compared to kindergarten. His roles include son, brother, student, friend, and teammate. And he feels that in his student role, the time constraint of assignments and homework hinder his occupational performance. He does not have sufficient time to complete his work because of the inability to write fast and legibly. He also feels too challenged compared to kindergarten, which is hindering his ability to pay attention and focus in class. So some of the environment, the physical environment, his supports include he sits in a group of kids that are excelling in handwriting and schoolwork, and he also sits in the front near the teacher. Some of the barriers are there's 30 other kids in his class, which doesn't allow one-on-one time with the teacher. His social supports include the classmates and his teacher, but his barriers are that he reports that his parents are getting divorced and that they are too preoccupied with that and his other siblings to help him with school. He does not have any short-term or long-term goals because he's not being seen under an OTR. But his priorities and desired targeted outcomes include wanting to be able to complete work faster and neater to keep up with his classmates and not fall behind. This is not impacting his ADLs, IADLs, or rest or sleep, but it is affecting his education and work, which is his school, by negatively impacting his ability to legibly complete his schoolwork in a timely fashion. And it's also starting to affect his play and social participation. Not too much, but he's having to take home some of his schoolwork that he isn't able to finish because he's unable to legibly and do his schoolwork in school. So that's affecting that. So to begin for my intervention, for one of the intervention I'm going to show you, the warm-up I had him do was with a stress ball, but I don't have my stress ball with me. So I'm going to use a stress ball. It's filled with flour, which could also be used, but it's for hand strengthening. Just like a fun little warm-up he can use. Just play with it a little, strengthen his hand. So yeah, he just did this I think I had him do it about 10 times on each hand, just to get his fingers warmed up. And then we moved on to a different activity. So at the beginning of the intervention process, I had the student do a writing assessment, which included a lined piece of paper with large margins, a pencil, and a handout with upper and lowercase alphabet. And I just had him write his upper and lowercase letters as neatly and as best as he could. He presented a right tripod grasp, but he mirrored his B's and D's as well as his P's and Q's. He was unable to stay in the lines and was unable to accurately form and write most of his letters, and he often asked, "How do I write this one?" He demonstrated poor fine motor skills and poor endurance and weakness of his right hand. So the intervention I'm going to show you today, the activity, is with a paper plate and clothespins. This can be modified a lot of different ways and graded a lot of different ways. But for this one, that's not supposed to be there, someone destroyed it. But it has all of the uppercase letters on it. And I used to have one with lowercase as well. And then I had one with numbers and then numbers written out. So like 1, 2, 3, 4 with letters, obviously, so they could read it. Just to grade it, make it more difficult or easy for the kids. But the one I'm going to show you is just with uppercase letters. So I would give the student one at a time. He'd have the paper plate in front of him like this. I'd hand him one at a time at random because otherwise he'd get too overwhelmed and frustrated. So I would give him, let's say, the A. He'd go, oh, A, let me find it. Take a minute. He'd search for it. He might find it. If not, I'd correct him. So once he's found the letter, let's say A, he pinches it like this and places it over the A. And then I'd give him another random number, let's say H. He'd go ahead and find that. And then another L, and so on. I found that he had greater difficulty with the lowercase letters than the uppercase, just because I think it's easier to mirror those letters than it is with the uppercase. So this was used for to increase his fine motor skills, hand strength, endurance, and letter recognition. And that's all I have. Thanks for watching.